Let's go fishing. You know it's really great. Let's go fishing. In the rivers and on the lakes. Let's go fishing. It's easy when you try. Floating on the water with good old Steve in mind. Floating on the water with good old Steve in mind.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Let's Go Fishing show. And to my first left is Paul Parrott, and he's filling in for Jeff tonight. Paul, we're glad to have you.
Well, it's good to be here, Steve and Mike.
Glad to have you.
I appreciate y'all having me down. I've been watching your show forever, and you know, you had Jeff and I one time, and I really enjoyed coming down and talking with you guys, and just a good fellowship.
It is. And you all, my far left is my one and only brother Mike.
Yeah.
And I'm sure proud to have him over here with us tonight. Mike's been on a long road here for about a year now, and hopefully that we can get something done and get him on the lake with us, and we'll be happy campers.
Yeah,
That's
For
right.
sure. Right off the get-go, want to our communications comes through BBB Communications, and can't thank those fine folks there at BBB enough, you know, that we can continue to doing what we're doing. And then I want to thank our local union, 917. Those guys over there, they're just you can't beat them. I mean, they just do a real good job of wherever they're at, wherever they're working at, and it's just a pleasure to work with them because they know what they need to do, and when you get to where they're at, well, they're wide open. So we can't thank those fine people enough, and appreciate them. But we do have Paul here with us, and we're going to. He's got some lures and stuff that he's been fishing up at Norse, and been having some pretty good success. And I don't know how in the world you would think something that small, and it just, you know, but he's catching fish on it, and that's all that matters. You know.
Yeah.
Give us some insight.
Well, I've first of all, I'm just, you know, I'm glad to be here tonight with you guys, and I'm kind of a weekend warrior when it comes to fishing. Every now and then I get to go during the week. I'm not retired, but soon probably will be. But yeah, the fishing's been, the water's cooled down. The fishing's been fairly good. You know, the water, I'm fishing Norse, and I'll put in at Norse Dam and fish up the Cove Creek side, and then sometimes I'll go to Point 19 and I'll fish in around where the Lewiston Point ramp is. Mostly what I've been doing is I've been either throwing a jerk bait. This is a Lucky Craft jerk bait. I've done pretty good on the jerk bait. I've done a little better on the jerk bait than I have the crankbait for whatever reason. I guess because of the water temperature. Now, like I say, that water it's crystal clear.
Yeah.
At Norse Dam, you know, up as far up as Twin Cove on that side of the lake, and you know, Point 19's clear too. But the jerk bait's been working pretty good, and if all else fails, like Mike said, how in the world do you catch anything on something that small? But that's the gulp.
There it is.
That's the gulp minnow on a 16th ounce.
Chandler, thank you.
On a 16th ounce head, Arky head.
Yeah, it's barely big as a...
You know, it's like something you'd crumpet fish with or something. But been using that a lot over the years, and that's a 3-inch gulp. You don't really have to do anything special with it. The neat thing about that little gulp is you can fish it so many different ways. You can cast the bank with it, and fish it out to, if you're setting in 25, 30 foot deep, you can work it down the bank, or you can fish this thing vertically like you would a drop shot, kind of like the way you catch them crappie on that rig that you use, and it seems to work well. The thing with this little bait is when all else fails for me, this is what I go to this time of year, and I'll use this little gulp all winter long in that clear water. Now, when the water gets a lot of color to it, it's kind of a sight bait. It cuts down on your chances of getting bit.
Yeah.
But when the crankbait's slow and the jerkbait bites slow on Norse in that cold, clear water, that's what I go to. And speaking of crankbaits, that clear water, those bandits work well. That's an old light, 200 series old light Matei. And I try to, depending on the bank I'm fishing, if it's kind of a flat, I'll get way off the bank, at least where I'm sitting in 10 or 12 foot of water, and I'll parallel the bank with that. I'll throw it down the bank and pull it, parallel to the bank. The steeper the bank, the closer to the bank I'll get. And that's a great bait. I've had a lot of success. Jeff and I both have a lot of success with that. And, the crawdad color works good. And in that clear water, it's kind of a rule of thumb, too. In that clear water, a shad color, that's a DT6. And that's a real good bait, too. It's kind of a small profile, but it runs about the same depth as that bandit. It works pretty well. And now when the water starts getting stained up, Steve, we hadn't had much rain.
Yeah, exactly right.
And I hadn't even attempted to go further up, toward the Twin Cove in the Cove Creek area, because it's clear up there too. The old SR8 or SR7 silver fluorescent chartreuse, it's got a tight wobble in that cold water, and it seems to work good. I just reel it steady, and that bait too, I'll get as close as I can to the bank and parallel that bank and let it beat and bang down the bank.
And not got no rattler in there.
No, it's quiet.
Yeah. It got rattles.
Yeah. Now the bandit's got rattles, and so does the DT.
Yeah.
And I was mentioning earlier before we started the show that bandit makes a flat side crankbait, which is kind of like, it's a square bill. Both of those are good. When the water's real muddy, that bright red seems to do the trick, and if it's just kind of a dingy look to it, I'll throw that one. It's got that chartreuse and the brown in it, and both of those seem to work well. And got a friend of mine that I work with at the courthouse, and he swears by these little lures. He said this is called a tossed salad color, and it looks good. You can see how well, if I can get it unhooked from that shad wrap, but it's real bright. And I think, in that, well, that's a 200 series, but that's tall salad. And that's a good, I hope he doesn't get mad at me for revealing his secret weapon. but that's a good bait too. And I tried that last year up there, and it worked good. And that muddy water just as good as the shad wrap or the DTs or the flat. It just, I guess, just depends on what kind of mood they're in, what they want. You got a confidence bait. They call them confidence bait. This one right here, when all else fails, I'll tie that shad wrap on in that muddy water, and it's always caught me some good fish. But
right.
that's kind of what I've been doing, Steve. Like I said, we've had no rain. Water's been clear and cold. If I'm not using a jerk bait, I'm using that little gulp, and I'm slowing way down. Now I'll use 6-pound test string, low visibility line with that gulp, and of course that 6-pound line you better have your drag set.
Yeah,
but
it won't stand a lot of pull with it.
It won't. I've had my heart broke a time or two getting my line broke, but
right.
hey, it's fun just to feel them get that thing. But
yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of what I've been doing, and I'm been waiting on the rain to get here.
I hear you. That's a nice. As from what you've got in that right there, you ought to be able to do anything, catch anything you want to catch.
That's pretty much in it. And Steve, the thing of it is, I do the same thing every year.
Yeah.
I will try a new bait every once in a while, or a new crankbait, or a different type of jerk bait in that clear water, but. It's like the old saying goes: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I agree.
That's kind of what I like to do.
Yeah. That is. If you had that box only right there, you'd be. It's a nice setup on that everything you've got right there, and they do and will work. Ain't no two ways about it. Sure enough.
Yeah, it's working so far for me, but like I said, I'm waiting on the rain to get here, and I know a lot of people are that love to crankbait fish like me, and I know that you like that crankbait.
Yeah. Well, I better I hope my wife never hears me say this, because she don't know that I've got all them boxes down there full of lures, But she does. She's real good to me, and I can't thank her enough, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we're looking good, and hopefully there's some people tuned in. Over there on the screen, let's see, was that 1086? Yeah. All right, we're sitting here ready whenever they make a phone call. Continue to do that. Mike, you got anything you want to add? I mean, we got a lot of time yet.
I've got, like you, several boxes full of them crankbaits, from the 30 plus down to the little tiny ones and stuff, but I know years ago, we used to get them plugs down in Chattanooga. They looked just like the Bandit. And man, I'm telling you what, we caught fish on them things like you wouldn't believe. And then the next year, you couldn't get a bite on them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy how them dang fish are. It's like every one of them seen it and they run away from it when they see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just be there.
They used to make a deep weir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
had a ball in the bill of it.
That's kind of like what that Bandit reminds me of, and I can remember. My Uncle John, when he'd take either me or Jeff out one, and he had a box full of them deep weirs, and I mean, I'm talking, 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, and they worked.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's just kind of like that Bandit, but I don't think I've seen a deep weir, and I don't know how. I don't even know if they still make them anymore.
I've got some in my boxes, I know.
The only thing I hated about them is because we was throwing a lot of the homemades, the big O's and stuff back in, and I started buying them other plugs there that was bigger and stuff and run a little deeper. And you fished 2 or 3 times and wonder why you wouldn't get no fish on it. Was the dang thing rubbing the bottom would just grind the dang bills off of them, and they wouldn't go back down under that 10 foot of water.
It wasn't run as deep as it used to.
No, it wouldn't. And them old homemades had that fiber board on them, and you didn't ever have no trouble out of them. They wouldn't run that deep anyway, but it didn't wear the bill out on it.
Yeah.
That's a fact. All right, Chandler, can you put us some fishing film on? Let's see if we can catch one.
right. There's a good, decent fish right there, folks. That's the first one. We'll get him back in the water. Yeah, buddy. Oh, that's good. That's a nice one, bud. Here we go. Back in the water with him. Yeah. Flashing. There he goes. All right, buddy. Back in the water you go. All right. Come on. There you go, buddy, old buddy. Yeah, good deal. Back in the water. Just a minute. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Sure enough, that's a dandy. All right, back in the water with you. Let's see, folks. Yeah, that's a good 2.5, 3 pound fish right there. Dandy. Nothing wrong with that. All right, back in the water with you. All right, folks, there's another good fish. Couple of pounds there anyway. All right, back in the water. All right. There's another decent fish right there, folks. Without a doubt. It's a good one. All right, folks. There's a good 4.5, 5 pound. Nice one. Here we go. Back in the water. Yeah, man. There we go. It's a good one. Good. All right. Nothing wrong with that fish, folks. Back in the water with it. That's it. There we go. All right. Yeah, I got you, buddy. That's a good one. You're in the shadows there. Get you back in the water. Here we go. Yeah, good little fish right there. Get another. All right, folks. There's one of them little old Kentucky bass. Man, he's pretty. I mean, a dandy. Back in the water with him. Dandy. All right, now we got a, yeah, like I said, that's a dandy. I mean, I just got to keep getting away from that thing. That fish there is close to 6 pounds. 5.5. Boy, he's a dandy. Pretty, beautiful. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Let's see. Come on. There you go. Yeah, there's a pretty fish right there. Very next cast from that smallmouth. Got a dandy. Here we go. Back in the water with it. Oh, yeah. Pretty fish right there now. Sure enough. Back in the water with him. All right, folks. There's a fish number 2. Back in the water with him. All right, folks. There's a good looking fish right there. I mean, a dandy. All right. We'll get her back in the water and get another. All right, folks, there's another good looking fish right there now. Sure enough, good keeper. Good keeper. All right, back in the water. All right, folks, there's another good fish right there. Nose are running, fish biting, stay at them. All right, folks, there's another good fish right there. Pretty fish. Yep, buddy. Back in the water he's gonna go.
All right. Back to us, Chandler. Thank you. We may have to call on you in a little while when we run out of something to say. So be ready to back us up. Yeah, actually, I'd been fishing 2 days. I went Monday and then and today and caught them fish there. But like I said, I was up in Little Emery, and I really it bumfuzzled me that I wasn't catching any fish up there. So I came back out of there, and then I stopped in Ronnie Brown's slough there and caught three of those fish out of there. And then I went across back towards the boat ramp and started down the left-hand side over there and caught a couple, maybe 4. Yeah, it was 4 fish I caught on that bank. And so I thought, well, so I cranked it. I went as far as I wanted to go because it just turned into dirt and a tree every now and then. So I run all the way across the lake over there, and heck, first cast I made, there was a tree out in the water in about 3 to 4 feet. And I throwed that crankbait out there, and heck, I didn't wind it 3 feet and like that. And so the fish, the show was on at that point.
Yeah.
And so I went about 300 yards up through there and caught 5 or 6 of them fish out there today. So can't complain about that. And then Monday, I went down the lake from Kingston Steam Plant on the main lake there, and I got down there in this big cove, and let's see, I caught 5 fish in that neighborhood, and one of them was that big smallmouth that I got.
Right.
I had a picture of him there, or it should be on there somewhere, and so it's a hard. And here's what I don't have the best electronics in the world on my boat, but it's pretty decent. It's just a standard 6-inch. I don't know.
You got a 7 up front and a 9 on the dash.
Yeah. And so, I throwed that dang crankbait in there on this little shallow spot there, and I told you I caught one right there at a small fish and throwed right back, and that's when that big smallmouth had inhaled it. I mean, he was 5 pound if he was an ounce.
Boy, that was a good one.
Yeah.
What make is that crankbait that you're using? Is it a Bandit or is is it like a square bill?
It's that Spro job.
It's a Spro. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
the Spro,
I got
that's
you.
what I've been throwing all day, and that's what I was throwing last week. Yeah, that's the first 2 that I hook up.
Yeah.
And then if I'm not doing much good with it, then I go to scrounging and looking for something different.
Yeah.
I realize at that point that, hey, you're not throwing the right thing.
Right.
And
right.
So put you something else on, and you try that for a little while, and see what happens.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of what but I watched that temperature gauge on my locator, and it rose 3 degrees.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
as
this
I
is
got way down, you got down the lake
the
down
further
there.
down the
where
lake.
Yeah, further down the lake down there. It just kept climbing a little bit at a time. You'd be in 41 here, and then you go 3-4 miles down the lake, and it's 43,
Yeah.
44.
Yeah.
And and that's, that's just what I got into down the last couple of days.
Were they generating at the steam plant? You think that kind of impacts
Yeah.
that a little bit? Maybe it.
Yeah, I guarantee you, the smokestack was billowing out
Yeah.
the exhaust, but it does do that. Now, here's something that I don't know when it was, but there used to be TV. They didn't regulate the water temperature on the discharge from the steam plant.
Right.
It used to. It would be 47, 50 degrees inside that area there where they were discharging, and you get out there in the main channel, and shucks, it might just be 40.
Right.
It might be 36.
Right.
But they changed that. They went, from mixing the water or letting it just free flow through the discharge, and it always stayed 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees warmer
Right.
in that slough there. And then they changed all that, and they said, no, it can't be from 18 to 21.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, in other words, you could. They just changed it. They quit putting that hot water.
The hot water in.
Yeah,
They,
sure did.
They come back and made it a law there, TVA had to follow. They couldn't have that temperature any more than 10 degrees and off of what it was coming down the river before it get to there.
Yeah,
They could.
So it's got to stay in that little range.
yeah, sure enough.
10 degrees can't get no hotter than 10 degrees on what it is up there. In
I
the lake.
wonder if, I guess the shad, I'd imagine that the shad will still try to go to that warmer water, even if it is a little,
Well,
a few degrees warmer than the main channel.
and I don't remember what year that came about. Do you, Mike?
What's that?
When they started mixing the hot water and the cold water.
That was plumb back about 2002 or something like
Really?
Okay, yeah.
that. Yeah.
I mean,
That's pretty
when
good
it
while
changed,
ago.
it changed.
Yeah.
And shoot, that used to be one of the hottest places on the lake.
When Jeff and I,
Yeah.
we fished that area quite a bit. We would put in there at Ladd's Landing and crank that bank, when you start into them rocks before you get into the slough where the outlet is. And we've always, done good. And then get right on that point at the slough was always good. And,
Yeah.
Crank it or throw a jerk bait in there. Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah.
That's a good spot. I would imagine them shad has got to be there if they have to be froze to death out there in that main channel. Any little temperature change, and surely them bass will follow them in there.
Yeah.
And
But it did change it. It changed it. It's not near what that spot right there used to be.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. And,
Yeah.
It's just because the water temperature here in this slough is the same temperature out here where the main channel is.
that's something.
I mean,
And so it just
creates a whole. Heck, I'd go up there to that steam plant, and it'd just be chaos. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You back off out there in about 25 foot of water with a DD-22 or 30 plus, and they had and you had about 4 or 5 foot here, or 6 foot deep for this hump, and you'd come off that plug and bump, and it just you'd come it free and look out.
There'd be something there.
Be something there.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was, and then but when they started mixing it, it's all the same now.
Yeah.
Put a
Yeah,
boom
it's different.
across down there where you can't go up
Yep.
to
Yeah.
the discharge. now, so you have to stay below that. But that one old boy down there, he's talking about them big rockfish running in there and stuff. And said, of course, they go under the boom, they get up there. But
Yeah.
he said, I don't know how many of them things I lost for to go through another that boom, and I couldn't chase them down.
Yeah. Just break off.
It'd break off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Sure would. They had some kind of spill or something up there. Was the reason they put that boom up there with that material in it to catch any oil or anything.
But yeah, for years, you could go right up there to where it came right out the chute there.
Yeah, that used to be a smallmouth hole like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. It's like what Bull Run too.
Yeah.
There's been times that in the wintertime we go up there. I was throwing an SR8 like that up there one day. It was in the wintertime. It was around Christmas time, probably about the same time of year. And hung a muskie, and that was the end of that. That was the end of that SR8. I got him. I set the hook on him, and he come up. I seen what it was. I went, "Oh boy, there goes my SR." Sure enough, I'm just using 8 or 10 pound test, probably 8 is what I was using, but caught a lot of bass at that outlet there. Now it's been a while since I've done that.
Yeah.
Before we started the show, of course, that part of Melton Hill I'm a little more familiar with, and like I showed you them crappie, we in the spring, them pictures like I showed you out of the tree that I catch them out of, that's in March, and we do real good crappie fishing there, and we've caught some good bass there too, and out of Bull Run Creek, them bass run right up in that creek and chase them shad up there, and that whole bank coming out of the discharge there at Bull Run Creek, that whole riprap, that entire bank's good. On both sides of the river, you got trees on one side and riprap on the other, and Jeff and I both we've
done well there.
We've fished that a lot.
Yeah.
Sure have.
Well, that's the good thing about it.
Yeah.
But you have those changes that come around occasionally, and disrupts everything that you've been doing
that you're used to.
10, 15 years, and so now it's there. It's all the same water.
Yeah.
It really is. But it used to be a hot spot.
Oh, I bet.
Shoot, I've seen 5 or 6 boats at a time in there.
It's on top of each other.
Yeah, going up all the way. It goes all the way up there and under the highway.
Yeah.
And you can run in there, shoot, and go up that bank and flipping.
Yeah.
A jig or a lizard or just anything,
and they'd be there.
They'd be there, yeah. But it changed. I mean, it definitely changed.
Yeah.
It definitely did.
Yeah.
Shucks, I thought, dad, gone it, man. But anyway, and there'll be times this coming, when cold weather's over with and the water warms up in that slough, it'll be for a week or so there, they can move in there, spawn out, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And we had a tournament through the local 917 back several years ago, and I had David Ray was fishing with someone, and I was by myself, and so they went down the lake, and I went up the lake up there to a marker pole standing out there in about 4 foot of water, and so I jumped up on the front of the boat, made one cast, and got one that was roughly 3 pounds. And so I started making other moves and stuff, and this, that, and the other. And after about an hour or 2 hours went by, I cranked where I was fishing from, and I run down towards the steam plant down there. and there was a little hump come up out there, and it still had about 6 foot of water over it. 4 casts is all it took me. 4 casts. Bam. Had 5 fish that weighed. Well, when we got to the scales, I put 2 of them in the bag, and they said, "Dang." I said, "You got any more?" I said, "Well, how many more does it take?"
Yeah.
And me and David Ray was aggravating. I was aggravating him about it, and I said, "Well, how many more you got to have?" And he said, "Well, you only allowed 5." I said, "Well, then there's number 3, there's number 4, and there's number 5." And it was 20-something pounds.
Oh, wow.
I said,
that's good.
I said, "You wanted to know what it took?" I said, "I'm going to show you." And I went right down there, and I told him, and I said, "You went right to the place," because they went down the lake towards the steam plant, and I went up the lake, and they pulled in. They got down there, and they was fishing. That's where they were fishing at, and I didn't know that. And so when I got down there, I threw them jerk baits, picked that jerk bait up, and it was just Katie barred the door.
It was on then.
It was on. I mean, yeah, I had that one fish of about 3 pounds, and I wound up throwing it back down there and got them 5, and he couldn't believe it. He said, "What?" I said, "Well, you was on the best place on the lake." And I said, "Yeah, you."
And left it.
You left
and
it.
Left it.
Yeah, and when I come back down through there a couple hours later, I didn't see a soul in there.
Yeah.
I just, I'm gonna check this out, and sure enough, buddy, I caught 4 dandies right out of the same school. As fast as I could get that bait back out there, I'd twitch it about twice.
There's something that they liked about that hump.
Yeah, sure was.
They was there.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Wasn't no doubt about it. But that was a good deal. I really did. I said, you kind of aggravate him when you get a chance.
Well, speaking of that, I spoke to David before I come down. I talked to him on the phone. Been the first time I've talked to him in a while.
Yeah.
David and I are cousins, and
right.
And I can remember us growing up together and everything. And I said, we'll have to get together, and go out and eat or come out and go fishing with us. And
right.
My Jeff's grandmother and his mother are sisters, so and there was a big family, a bunch of them, and
right.
you kind of drift away from as the years go by, but it's good to know that David's doing good. I'm glad to hear that he's doing well, and
he
really is. And I thanked him too for Dave and them sponsors, the show. It makes it hard to put that show on, and I'm sure y'all appreciate David a lot.
We
for that.
do. We really do. He's a dandy. And there's been a few times he's beat me pretty bad.
Is that right?
Yeah. So it all works out.
Well,
and for sure.
That's right. That's fishing.
That's fishing. All right, Chandler, you got any more film?
All right. There's a good, decent fish right there, folks. That's the first one. We'll get him back in the water. Yeah, buddy. Oh, that's good. That's a nice one, bud. Here we go. Back in the water with him. Yeah. Flashing. There he goes. All right, buddy. Back in the water you go. All right. Come on. There you go, buddy, old buddy. Yeah, good deal. Back in the water. Just a minute. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Sure enough, that's a dandy. All right, back in the water with you. Let's see, folks. Yeah, that's a good 2.5, 3 pound fish right there. Dandy. Nothing wrong with that. All right, back in the water with you. All right, folks, there's another good fish. Couple of pounds there anyway. All right, back in the water. All right. There's another decent fish right there, folks. Without a doubt. It's a good one. All right, folks, there's a good 4.5, 5 pound. Nice one. Here we go, back in the water. Yeah, man. There we go. It's a good one. Good. All right. Nothing wrong with that fish, folks. Back in the water with it. See it. There we go. All right. Yeah, I got you, buddy. That's a good one. You're in the shadows there. Get you back in the water. Here we go. Yeah, good little fish right there. Get another. All right, folks, there's one of them little Kentucky bass. Man, he's pretty. I mean, a dandy. Back in the water with him. Dandy. All right, now we got yeah, like I said, that's a dandy. I mean, I just got to keep getting away from that thing. That fish there is close to 6 pounds. 5.5. Boy, he's a dandy. Pretty, beautiful. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Let's see. Come on. There you go. Yeah, there's a pretty fish right there. Very next cast from that smallmouth. Got a dandy. Here we go. Back in the water with it. Oh yeah, pretty fish right there now. Sure enough. Back in the water with him. All right, folks, there's a fish number 2. Back in the water with him. All right, folks, there's a good looking fish right there. I mean, a dandy. All right, we'll get her back in the water and get another. All right, folks, there's another good looking fish right there now. Sure enough, good keeper. Good keeper. All right, back in the water. All right, folks, there's another good fish right there. Nose running, fish biting, stay at them. All right, folks, there's another good fish right there. Pretty fish. Yep, buddy. Back in the water he's gonna go.
There you go.
All right, we're back. Caller, if you'll call us back, we'll try to get it. I thought I hit line 1, but anyway, if you're interested in calling us, we'd like to hear from you. we're just trying to do the right things with them fishing, and you have all this technology out there and everything, and now Mike's got a pretty good setup on his boat with this. What do we call that stuff, Mike? This
Scope and stuff.
Huh?
The scope.
Yeah, the scope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's got a pretty good setup on his electronics up there on the front of his boat, and this, that, and the other, and he can kind of find find them when he needs to, I guess, and especially them crappie.
Yeah, I have to find them crappie.
I ain't had the time. I've been out of commission for over a year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
still out of commission,
Yeah.
So I can't tell you anything about it. I do know that my transducers were down.
Now, Chandler, which one? Did you say button number 1? Yeah. Hello, caller.
Hey, Steve, this is Jeff Perry.
Yeah. Oh, damn,
Hello, Jeff Rowe. How you doing?
I'm doing good. The first thing I want to say it's so good to see Mike back in his seat there. I've been keeping it warm for him there on a couple episodes. Mike, I'm glad to see you back.
it's good to be back, but I ain't ready yet to get back to fishing.
Wish I was with you guys tonight, but I don't know about that character you got right there in the you guys there on Brother Paul there. I think he got that tackle box out of my garage.
Don't be looking at my flat side bandits too close, especially that one. I know you like that one.
Yeah.
You'll be wanting to take that to your kayak tournament with you.
I tell you what, and Mike, I didn't know you were a mercury expert. Steve gave me a tour of his basement the last time I was down there, and you guys are mercury men. You got them in every corner down there in that basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got them, and I'm trying to get rid of them.
That's all right. That's good. You guys know what you're doing. But, yeah, Mike, I can't wait to see some of your crappie videos, and I wish you well. I hope you hang in there, and hope to see a whole lot more. Steve, I appreciate talking with you there the other day. I wish I could caught some fish down there when we ran into you. We could see them on the draft. We just couldn't get them tied.
I understand that, and your buddy there, he come up through that from the way down below the rock where the rocks run out there at the skimmer dam. He said he never saw the first fish.
Yeah, I know it, and he told me, he said, I think you're just telling me a story about that. I said, no, I said, Steve and I were in his boat. We caught probably 38, 36 bass within a half an hour right there at that little place that we were sitting on.
Yeah, definitely. They was, all of that all came to play when they pulled that water down there. They're about 2 feet. And it pulled the fish out of the grass, and they were just laying out there waiting on us to come by.
Yeah, I think so too. But both of us were using live scope, and we could see a few fish suspended in there at between 12 foot down to about 4 foot. But we threw everything at them. I don't know if they were maybe them little stripers or what, Steve. I don't know what. We couldn't get them to bite. So anyway, I don't know. I guess the next time out down there, I might go down there and fish below the steam mountain. I've actually learned a lot from you guys tonight. I appreciate Mike telling us about that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they kept the water a certain temperature down there. I can kind of see why, but that first half of your all show, I've learned a lot from you guys.
Yeah. Well, it was, that area there, around below there at the steam plant, what we talked about, used to be, it was a boat race to who could get there first. And then over the years, when they came back and changed this temperature thing, it changed the whole place. And you don't get a big bag of fish out of that place right now. I mean, it hadn't happened in several years, and it won't never change.
Yeah, that's right. Well, like Paul said in the first part of your show there, we're waiting on a little rain to muddy the water up a little bit on Coal Creek section. That's where we grew up at. And
Right.
we know every rock and every tree that's through there. But
Right.
now, it's so clear. It's as clear as this solution. I'm having to sit here and drink tonight.
Well, just remember where you're at.
I wore the carpet out between these seats and down the hall here in
Yeah.
a nice hour or two, but I guess that's part of it.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I've really enjoyed watching your show. You've got about 10 more minutes or so. Let me hang up and maybe let another caller jump in there. Again, it's good to see you, Mike, on the show. And Steve, it's always a pleasure when you give me a call, and always glad to fill in for you guys. Y'all have a good rest of the show. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. You got a good fill-in man here.
We need to.
Thank you, Chandler.
Like Jeff said, we talk about this too. When that water gets some color in it, you guys got to come up on Norris, and we'll put both boats in the water, and we'll get up there and we'll drag them crankbaits down that bank, and we'll have some fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I agree.
It's a lot of fun, and
we fished Norris a long time, and it's just like going up in Lost Creek.
Yeah.
That's muddy. When it rains, it's going to be muddy.
There's always color there.
Yeah.
That it could be clear there at the ramp, and you can run up Lost Creek, and there's your color.
Yeah.
And Jeff and I've done that multiple times.
Yeah.
Especially, if you don't get a lot of rain, just enough for that water to get in there, you can run to it. And that's kind of true with the Big Ridge Hollow too there, If you get a decent rain and the water, you can get, find a little muddy water in there, and them bass will be back in there in the back end of it. And But I'm looking forward to getting back on the water. I know they say this weekend they're predicting some, inch or two. So maybe this might be a start of something good as far as put some color in the water, because I'm looking forward to that. And I know my buddies that jig pole fish, and I jig pole fish too.
Yeah.
When it gets real muddy, but I know they're looking forward to that, because they'll go up the Powell River.
Yeah.
They'll go up Union County River, dock, and put in, and up to the graveyard up there, and they'll put in up there, and they'll come up Twin Cove and pull that jig pole and shake that big old jig underneath that big bobber, and when they put that big gob of worms on that thing, and it works too. And I enjoy that too. I don't do it as much, but I do take my jig pole with me and a dozen night crawlers to where I can do that when it gets right. I'm looking forward to that too.
Well, that's the whole point of it. I mean, whenever that heavy rains move in Big Ridge Holler, Lost Creek, and then if you want to go on up farther up the clinch there, you can, and that kind of stuff. I mean, that's part of it right there. Yeah, and there's a lot of guys that do that.
Now that wind can make a big difference up there if you get 2 or 3 days of strong winds. Out there bouncing up in Whitecap. 3-foot swells and all that. Them points sticking out and stuff. They get muddy as can be.
Yeah, it'll drag some mud out there on them. Yeah, it definitely puts them close to the bank, Steve. And that's what this time of year. That's what I enjoy, and I'm looking forward to it. And I want to thank you all for having me down here.
Oh, we're glad to have you.
I've enjoyed this and meeting you guys. I know we've talked on the phone, and we're looking forward to going fishing with you all. And you can call me anytime, and I'd love to go.
Okay. Sounds good.
Love to go, and looking forward to seeing you get back on the water too and get some more crappie film going. And for sure.
I know years ago when Dad and Bill was fishing together, and Atomic Bass Club had a tournament up there at North, and we was down there toward the dam at what Stardust.
Yeah.
I believe it was, and most of them fellas come in with 1 or 2 fish, and Bill come in with a sack full of fish, and
Yeah.
I was there talking to him and stuff, asking him, well, where'd you catch them fish at? He said, on them muddy points. And I said, what? He said, yeah. So that wind got to blowing real hard, and said everybody went to running back in them places to get out of the wind, and said I got right out there in it and threw that spinnerbait out through there in that muddy water, and he said just slow wind it through there, and said morning jump all over.
They get it. Yeah. Yeah.
So in that muddy water sure makes a difference.
Makes a difference, especially this time of year. For me, it really does. That winter time from now on up through March, in April, it really makes a difference. Really does.
Fishing in there in shallow water. Said them fish, that mud gets in there right again the bank. Said them fish will get right up against it. Said it may not be but a foot deep, but
that's right.
That's where they was flipping at.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Water. Said you flip in there and want to just about jerk your arm off.
That's right. Oh yeah. That's been times I've thrown that crankbait up there next, a foot off the bank, and it'd be sitting in 12 inches of water, and you crank it one time, and there'd be one grab it. They get that close.
They sure do.
They really do. They just hunker right down. And anything that comes by them, they'll hit it.
Yeah, they use that muddy water to hide themselves and sit there looking out there.
Yeah.
Something come through there, and that's when they jump on it.
Yep.
Let's see. Chucks, I don't know what's wrong with my phone here. I'm trying to get the dang. I want to see what day is the last. This next the next date that I'm looking for is at the end of this come January. What's yours showing? Mine don't.
Let's see here. Let me put my spectacles on.
I understand. Yeah.
Let's see here. Well, yeah, you need a calendar?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there it is.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Here we go, right down here, the 27th. Will be the next show that we have on the 27th. That's a Tuesday on the 27th, right?
Yeah, that's January.
It's January.
Yep.
That's it. Okay, that's what I needed to know right there.
All right.
Yeah. How much we got, Chandler? 2 minutes. Well, we thank you and appreciate you taking care of us. I think we done pretty good, so we'll be on the 27th of January. Chandler, remember that. Don't let me forget it, okay? All right. 27th of January. Perfect. You think you'll have a boatload of fish between now and then, Chandler? Okay, man. Don't throw them all back now. We need to eat some of them. All righty. Folks, we appreciate you guys at the Union Hall. We can't thank you enough. And Paul, we've enjoyed having you with us.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
We'll see y'all on the next go round. Hopefully, like I said, it'll be on the 27th of January. Right? And that puts us up where we need to be, where we're supposed to be, and then we'll just continue right on the rest of the year.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All
Hope
right.
things go better and I can get this arm working and
Yes, sir.
do some jerking.
Well, I hope so, too.
Yeah, sure enough. Like, man, I can't remember what that was.
All right.
Let's go fishing. You know it's really great. Let's go fishing. in the rivers and on the lakes. Let's go fishing. It's easy when you try, floating on the water with good old Steve in mind. Floating on the water with good old Steve in mind.